Welcome back to Baby Takes. Last week we did offensive depth chart prediction. This week we are switching over to the defensive side. Not quite doing a whole defensive depth chart prediction, but we're giving our 3 X-Factors on defense. Before we start, I want to remind everybody to like and subscribe if you like this content. We do Nebraska football content, Big Ten. We did Big Ten wrestling content.
So tomorrow night is pretty big in the Big Ten wrestling world. Penn State, Iowa are dueling in Carver Hawkeye. Huge year for Penn State, huge year for Iowa. So just going to throw out there, my prediction will be 18-13. Penn State takes the win. A couple swing matches there. Sure, we'll break that down next week, but just want to put my prediction out before I get it right and everyone says I'm a liar. So.
Yeah, so it's on the record. It's on the record now. We're going to do more Big Ten content. We're going to do fantasy football content once that picks back up. Maybe I'll make some NFL videos on my own. I don't know. We'll see. But all that content, if you like it enough, like and subscribe. And before we get started, we want to let you comment down below your top 3 defensive X-Factors going into this year. Before we get started, Zach, how are you doing?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good.
All right, so let's get started. With my first one, I went a little bit off the radar, I think. I don't think a lot of people are going to guess this one, but Isaac Gifford is my first X-Factor next year. When JoJo was hurt and ended his season, Isaac Gifford stepped in and played that nickel role, and I think a JoJo role is huge to our defense, obviously. Played that nickel role just so well. Was the top pass defender in like the last 5 years in the Big Ten or something like that. I mean, just unreal. And I hope Isaac Gifford can fill that role. I think he did an all right job last year. He played in all 12 games, mostly on special teams, but he also came in, and as I said before, came in when JoJo went down with an injury and ended his season. So he showed some promise, finished with 12 total tackles and one pass breakup, but we're definitely going to need to see more. And if he's playing at a high level next year, I think our defense is going to be just as good or better. So pretty excited. What about your first one?
Yeah, I'm going to go Nick Henrich. I believe he is technically I believe he is a sophomore in the athletic eligibility, but he did have a redshirt freshman year, and then they don't have like a grade for this year, really. It just says his 2021 season, but I'm going to start off just his 2020 season, his redshirt freshman year. Played in seven games, started just one, 27 tackles. Nothing crazy in that redshirt freshman year, but then came out in what I would call his redshirt sophomore year on a normal year without this whole COVID year thing. And he started all 12 games this year, was huge there at linebacker, finishing up, I think he said 99 tackles, which is
second on the
huge.
team behind Primer.
Yeah, which is huge. Conclusion of the regular season, he was 6th in the Big Ten in tackles, made 11 tackles at Illinois, just always getting in there, filling the holes. Huge guy to have at that linebacker spot. We know this defense was super good this year. It kept us in a lot of games. And, now that we're building this offense, I feel that guys like Nick Henrich and, other guys that we're going to name are just guys that can really keep it all together, the glue that holds this all together. Because in the Big Ten, defense is huge, and I think, we're living up to that.
Yeah, Henrich is going to be a big one because, yes, he was second on the team in tackles last year. I he made a lot of those tackles, like 4 yards down the field, 5 yards down the field. So if he can start filling those holes fast and making those tackles at the line of scrimmage, he's going to be a legit top Big Ten linebacker, I think. So my second one is actually someone that wasn't here last year in Tommy Hill. So Tommy Hill is a 4-star transfer DB. I think he's going to play corner. And I think this is going to be huge because obviously one of our best players in general last year was Cam Taylor-Britt. And him leaving kind of leaves a hole. We do have good depth. You still got, Dismuke as a defensive back returning. You got Miles Farmer coming back as well. I think they're both going to transfer between safety and corner. I don't really know which one they're going to play yet, but Tommy Hill is really exciting. I think he's a guy that didn't play a whole lot of true defense last year at Arizona State, but shows a lot of potential. Obviously, he's a 4-star. He'll be one of the highest rated guys on the defense in general in terms of their recruiting ranking. And I think our pass defense has a chance to be the same, if not better, than it was last year. And I think with our run defense already showing that it can be dominant, the pass defense being really good too would just really help us out, especially in the Big Ten. So I know you said something about Tommy Hill. You want to say anything else about him if he's on your list?
Yeah. So I have his stats pulled up right now. Nothing that, jumps off the charts in my eyes, but he was also just a freshman. So obviously room to improve. And at that D-back spot, you're not going to get a whole lot of tackles, but 9 total tackles this year. Don't think he was a starter for them. But not only do I see this guy playing on that defensive side of the ball, I think we can utilize him in the special teams as well. Just like I was saying last video with that really deep receiving core, utilizing those guys in the special teams. I'd also like to see, really fast D-backs get utilized in the special teams. You see that a lot in college and NFL is, you got a really good fast D-back. You put him back there on punt return. You put him back there on kick return just because, they're used to, tracking that ball and seeing that ball and obviously super fast and athletic too. So.
Super excited about Tommy Hill. One of the many, many transfers we got this year. Super excited about our transfer class in general. But my next guy is somebody that disappointed last year because, one, I think he was a little overhyped. He was getting Ndamukong Suh comparisons going into the year. So that got everybody a little hyped. But Ty Robinson is my third X-Factor. Still young, and I think he has a lot of potential to be a really, really good, staple in our D-line. At the D-tackle position last year, he's 6'6", 305 pounds, made 6 tackles for loss, only had 2 sacks, but he did have a pass defense. I think one of his best games was the Iowa game that we were at. Just disruptive in that game and showed a lot of potential of what's still left to come. So especially with Ben Stilley leaving, that opens a spot right up for him. So really excited to see what Ty Robinson can do. Hopefully he can live up to maybe not Ndamukong Suh, because Ndamukong Suh is probably the most dominant defensive player in the last 10 years of all college, or before that, but in all of college football in a long time. So definitely probably the Ndamukong Suh comparisons were a little early to give him that.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
But he still has a lot of potential to be pretty good. So really excited to see what he can do. And if he can just be a big staple in our defense for years to come, I think we're going to be all set on D-line.
Absolutely. So mine, this guy, coming back for his 5th year, that super senior, could have easily gone to the draft, but I like to see that he realizes maybe it's better to take another year and build that draft stock than to get taken late or go undrafted and try to make it that way. And that would be Caleb Tannor. And I huge fan of this guy. From the beginning, I think he's always just on the ball, always out there on the defense, making plays. Started all 12 games this year, put up 33 tackles, 5.5 of those tackles for loss, and 2 sacks and 3 pass breakups. So that just shows whether it's, getting tackles, sacking the quarterback, or breaking up passes, he's all over the field making plays. 2 pass breakups in the Iowa game, which is huge. That was coming off of an injury from the Wisconsin game. I just think that I love seeing, younger guys like Tommy Hill and Henrich and big just guys on the D line and everywhere on our team. I love seeing young guys because that stresses potential. But if you have a bunch of young guys, you have no leadership. And I think this is someone that has been around, has seen the bad, has seen the good, knows the culture we're trying to get to, and just someone that could really bring out that leadership role on the defense. And I really like that in him because not only is he going to be, great on the field, he's also going to be great in the locker room. He's going to be great in the classroom. He's a scholar athlete. Got the Brooke Berringer Citizenship Team Award and the Tom Osborne Citizenship Team Award in 2019. Just shows that not only is he a great player, but just a great guy, just a great teammate.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what Caleb Tannor can do. It seemed like last year, even like towards the end of the year, we had just figured out like where to put him. It was kind of playing that. We're kind of see if he was like a outside backer, like standing up, an off-ball linebacker, or
and he's a big frame, like at 6'3", 225. He's a big frame, so you could slide him into that inside backer spot, but at the same time, at that outside backer spot, he can still play in that pass game. I really like where he's at. I think he can play dang near anywhere on the defense except for the inner D line. I think everywhere else he fits in and can make plays.
Yeah, he's athletic and like Ty Robinson had his best game for sure against Iowa. He was just everywhere. I mean, I think there was a couple third downs where there was an open guy, but either Petrus or their other quarterback throws it and Caleb Tanner's just there. Knocks it down. So, yeah, it was huge. He was really inconsistent for a while, but really jumped onto the scene towards the end of the year. So, really excited to see what he can do. But, that's going to do it for our defensive X-Factors. Obviously, there's a lot more guys that deserve love. Like I said, Miles Farmer. We mentioned Luke Reimer, who led the team in tackles last year, looking to be back for another leadership role. But, yeah, really excited for Nebraska football next year. Again, comment down below your top 3 defensive players that you're excited to see next year. Like the video if you enjoy this content, and subscribe if you also enjoy this content and want to see more of it. It really helps us out. We're really excited to pump out some more content for you. But with that, that's all I got. As Zach said, we'll break down some more wrestling next week probably. At least mention the Penn State-Iowa duel. So with that, we'll see you next week.